The signal from the stars. The message arrived on a Tuesday. Commander Elena Reyes was halfway through her morning coffee when the alert flashed across her terminal screen at United Earth Defense Force headquarters. She blinked, certain she'd misread the notification. Confirmed alien transmission detected. Reyes abandoned her coffee and hurried to the command center, where analysts were already gathered around the central display. Chief Science Officer Dr. Wei Zhang looked up as she entered, his expression a mixture of excitement and disbelief. "Commander, you need to see this," Zhang said, gesturing to the pulsing waveform on the main screen. It began approximately 3 hours ago, originating from the HD 85,512 system, roughly 36 light-years from Earth. "You're certain it's artificial?" Reyes asked, studying the complex pattern. "No doubt whatsoever," Zhang replied. "The signal repeats with mathematical precision. It contains embedded prime number sequences that could only be created by an intelligent species." Lieutenant Kamal Sharma, head of communications, stepped forward. "There's more, Commander. The pattern matches what we've theoretically designated as a universal distress signal. Someone out there is asking for help." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had spent centuries scanning the stars for signs of intelligent life. They had built powerful transmitters, sent out their own greeting messages, and waited. Now, their first contact wouldn't be a friendly hello or a diplomatic exchange. It was a cry for help. Admiral Hansen arrived 20 minutes later, his weathered face grave as he reviewed the data. "Translation status?" he demanded. Dr. Elira Costa, lead xenolinguist, shook her head. "We can't translate the content precisely, sir, but the mathematical structure is unmistakable. It's an SOS, encoded in a way that any spacefaring civilization should recognize. And you're certain it's not a natural phenomenon, a pulsar or some cosmic background radiation we've misinterpreted." The Admiral's skepticism was warranted. The implications were enormous. "Sir, with all due respect," Zhang interjected, "pulsars don't broadcast prime number sequences or include mathematical constants. This signal was designed to be noticed and understood by other intelligent life." The Admiral nodded slowly. "How long has the signal been transmitting?" "That's the thing, sir," Reyes said. "The signal is 36 years old. Whatever emergency prompted it happened nearly 4 decades ago." "Which means we could be too late," Hansen murmured. "Or," Reyes countered, "they might still be waiting for someone to answer." Within hours, the World Security Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from every nation stared at the screen as the signal played, its alien cadence filling the chamber. "Let me understand this correctly," said Counselor Jackson of the North American Union. "You're proposing we send our fleet, the entirety of Earth's Defense Force, on a mission to help aliens we've never met, who might not even exist anymore." "That's exactly what I'm proposing," Admiral Hansen replied firmly. "This signal was deliberately designed to be understood across species boundaries. Someone went to great lengths to ask for help." "And if it's a trap?" asked Representative Chen of the East Asian Alliance. "We would be leaving Earth virtually defenseless." Dr. Costa stepped forward. "The signal contains no deception markers, no inconsistencies or manipulative elements. If someone wanted to lure us into a trap, they would have sent something far more enticing than a distress call." President Alvarez of the Global Federation rose from her seat, silencing the murmurs. "Throughout human history, we have defined ourselves by how we respond to those in need. When someone calls for help, we answer." She looked around the chamber. "We built our fleet to protect humanity. Sometimes protection means extending a hand to others." The vote was closer than anyone expected, but in the end, Operation Stellar Response was approved. Earth would answer the call. Commander Reyes stood on the observation deck of the orbital shipyard, watching as crews prepared the massive vessels for departure. The UED of Resilience, Earth's flagship, loomed largest among them. 1 kilometer of advanced technology and weaponry, originally built to defend Earth from potential threats. Now it would lead a fleet of 30 ships on humanity's first major voyage beyond the solar system. Quite a sight, isn't it? Captain Marcus Chen joined her at the viewport. As the Resilience's commanding officer, Chen would carry the weight of first contact on his shoulders. "I never thought I'd see the day," Rise admitted. "We're really doing this." "Having second thoughts, Commander?" Chen asked. Rise shook her head, just contemplating the enormity of it all. "We evolved on a world that tried to kill us daily. Predators, diseases, natural disasters. Earth forged us into survivors." She gestured toward the assembling fleet. "Now someone else out there needs that survival instinct." 2 days later, Reyes stood on the bridge of the Resilience as final preparations were completed. The ship hummed with activity as crew members performed last-minute checks. Dr. Zhang and Dr. Costa had established a dedicated xenobiology lab, prepared to provide medical assistance to whatever species had sent the distress call. Major Diana Rivera, commander of the ship's marine contingent, approached Rice. "My teams are ready, Commander. Combat ready, but also trained for search and rescue operations." "Let's hope we need more of the latter than the former," Rice replied. The communications panel chimed. "All ships report ready for departure, Captain," Lieutenant Sharma announced. Captain Chen looked to Admiral Hansen, who had insisted on personally leading the mission. The Admiral stood tall, his gaze fixed on the main view screen showing the assembled fleet. "Today, humanity takes its place among the stars," Hansen said, his voice carrying to every ship in the fleet. "Not as conquerors, not as explorers, but as responders to a call for help. This is who we are. This is what Earth has prepared us for." He nodded to Chen. "Captain, take us out." "Helm," Chen ordered. "Set course for the HD 85,512 system. Full power to the Alcubierre drive." The massive engines of the Resilience hummed to life, creating the bubble of warped space-time that would propel them faster than light. One by one, the ships of the fleet followed suit, their drives illuminating space like newborn stars. Rides watched as Earth grew smaller on the view screen, eventually disappearing entirely as the fleet entered the vast darkness between stars. Humanity had taken its first steps into the galactic community, and they were steps of compassion. The journey would take just over 3 months using Earth's most advanced FTL technology. During that time, the crew continued to analyze the signal, extracting every possible piece of information from its mathematical structure. "We've identified what appears to be a visual component," Dr. Costa reported during one of their daily briefings. "It suggests a planetary system under attack, vessels of some kind firing upon settlements." "So we're heading into a war zone," Major Rivera observed grimly. "Potentially," Admiral Hansen acknowledged. "Which is why we're prepared for combat operations if necessary. But our primary mission remains unchanged. We're going to help whoever sent that signal." As they passed the halfway point of their journey, Rice spent more time in the ship's observatory, staring at the unfamiliar stars. Somewhere ahead lay humanity's first encounter with alien life. Would they arrive in time? Would they find survivors or only ruins? And how would aliens react to humans, a species evolved on one of the most dangerous habitable planets known? Earth scientists had long theorized the humans came from what would be classified as a death world by galactic standards. High gravity, extreme weather patterns, diverse biomes from frozen tundra to scorching deserts, and an ecosystem filled with predators and microorganisms that had forced humans to adapt or die. These thoughts occupied Reyes's mind as the Resilience and its escort fleet continued their journey toward the source of the mysterious signal, carrying humanity's hope and determination across the stars. Jump complete in 3, 2, 1. The navigator's voice was steady as the fleet dropped out of FTL at the edge of the HD 85,512 system. For a moment, everything was still. Then the sensor arrays came to life. "Multiple contacts detected," called out the tactical officer. "Sir, we have ships in the system. A lot of ships." Admiral Hansen moved to the main display. "Show me." The screen illuminated with a tactical overview of the system. Dozens of sleek vessels surrounded the third planet from the system's sun, firing energy weapons at the surface. "Life signs," Rise asked urgently. "Confirmed, Commander," replied the sensor operator. "Approximately 8 million on the planet's surface, concentrated in settlement patterns, and they're under heavy bombardment." Hansen's jaw tightened. After 36 years, we're still not too late. He turned to communications. "Open a channel to all ships in the fleet, and prepare to broadcast on all frequencies toward those alien vessels." The fleet had arrived. Humanity's response to the call for help was about to begin. Deathworlders to the rescue. "All ships, battle formation Delta." Admiral Hansen commanded, his voice carrying throughout the fleet. Defensive screen around the Resilience and medical vessels. The human ships maneuvered with precision, forming a protective barrier between the planet and its attackers. On the Resilience's bridge, tension mounted as the alien armada began to react to their arrival. "Sir, the attacking vessels are altering course," reported Tactical Officer Lieutenant Pottle. "They're breaking off their bombardment of the planet. Reading weapons charging. They're targeting us." Admiral Hansen nodded grimly. "So be it. Lieutenant Sharma, open communications on all frequencies." "Channel open, sir." "Attention unknown vessels." Hansen's voice was firm and measured. "This is Admiral Thomas Hansen of the United Earth Defense Force. We are responding to a distress signal from this system. Cease your attack immediately and withdraw to a safe distance for negotiations." The response came in the form of energy weapons fire. 3 beams of blinding light streaked toward the human fleet, impacting the shields of the lead vessels. "Shields holding at 92%, Lieutenant Patil announced. "Minimal damage." "They've made their intentions clear," Hansen said. "Captain Chen, you have tactical command. Protect our medical ships and prepare to deploy rescue teams to the surface." Captain Chen stepped forward. "All ships, defensive protocols engage. Return fire only when directly targeted. Our priority is defending the planet and its population." The space around HD 85,512's third planet erupted into chaos as human and alien vessels engage. The attacking fleet, now identified as approximately 60 ships of various sizes, seemed surprised by the sudden arrival of the human forces. Their formation broke, ships scattering before regrouping in attack patterns. Commander Rais monitored the battle from her station. "Their technology is advanced, but their tactics are uncoordinated," she observed. "They didn't expect resistance. Probably because they've been bombarding that planet for who knows how long without anyone coming to help," Major Rivera added, preparing her marine teams for ground deployment. A massive alien vessel, nearly twice the size of the Resilience, moved to the center of their formation. Its hull glowed with energy as it prepared to fire what appeared to be a main weapon. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Chen ordered. "Target that flagship's weapon systems only." The human fleet responded with remarkable coordination. Smaller vessels darted between the larger ships, drawing fire while the Resilience and 3 heavy cruisers positioned themselves for a counterattack. "Fire," Chen commanded. Concentrated beams from the human ships struck the alien flagship's weapons array with surgical precision. The energy buildup dissipated in a spectacular flash that illuminated the battlefield. "Their flagship is disabled but still operational," Paddle reported. "Sir, we're being hailed." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a humanoid figure with mottled gray skin, elongated features, and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. The alien's expression was unreadable, but its body language conveyed shock. "This is Void Commander Krell of the Voth Empire." The translation matrix converted the alien's clicks and whistles into English. "You have engaged Imperial forces without provocation. Identify yourselves immediately." Admiral Hansen stepped forward. "I am Admiral Thomas Hansen of Earth. We responded to a distress signal from this system. You were attacking an inhabited planet. That is all the provocation we needed. The alien commander's upper eyes narrowed. The affairs of the Aliari are not your concern. They violated territorial agreements and must be punished. Withdraw your forces now, or face the full might of the Voth Empire. We will not abandon those who asked for help, Hansen replied firmly. Cease your attack and withdraw. We are prepared to negotiate peaceful terms. Commander Krell's expression shifted to what might have been disbelief. You would risk war with the Voth Empire for aliens you have never met. What madness is this? It's not madness, Rise interjected. It's humanity. The connection terminated abruptly. Moments later, the alien ships resumed their attack, this time focusing entirely on the human fleet. They've made their choice, Hansen said quietly. Captain Chen, you may engage with full defensive protocols. Protect our medical ships at all costs. The battle intensified as human ships demonstrated capabilities that clearly surprised the Voth forces. Earth vessels, designed to withstand the harshest conditions, absorbed punishment that would have crippled other ships. Human crews, evolved on a planet that had forced adaptation at every turn, made split-second decisions that kept them one step ahead of their adversaries. After 20 minutes of intense fighting, the Voth fleet began to falter. Several of their ships had been disabled, and their formation was breaking apart. Sir, Lieutenant Sharma called out, we're being hailed again, both by the Voth flagship and from the planet's surface. On screen, Hansen ordered. Split view. The display divided, showing Commander Krell on one side and a new alien on the other. This one with iridescent blue skin, large expressive eyes, and delicate features. I am Sentinel Lyra of the Aliari Confederation. The blue alien spoke, their voice melodic even through the translation matrix. You answered our call. After all this time, we received your distress signal, Hansen confirmed. The United Earth Defense Force has come to help. Impossible, Commander Krell interjected. No spacefaring race would respond to a distress call from another species without knowing the risks. It defies all logic. Perhaps your logic is limited, Commander Rice suggested. On Earth, we had a long tradition of responding to those in need, regardless of who they are. Your planet. Krell's tone shifted to something like realization. The gravity readings from your vessels, the radiation shielding. You're from a Class 12 world. Class 12? Chen asked. What you would call a death world, Krell replied. High gravity, extreme climate variance, aggressive biology. No wonder you fight like this. You're Deathworlders. The term hung in the air as the human officers exchanged glances. If that's what you call us, then yes, Admiral Hansen acknowledged. We evolved on a planet that challenged us at every turn. It taught us to be strong, adaptable, and to look out for one another. Now, I'll ask once more, withdraw your forces from this system. After a long pause, Commander Krell made a gesture that might have been resignation. The Voth Empire does not seek conflict with Deathworlders. We will withdraw. But this matter is not resolved. The Aliari will answer for their transgressions through proper diplomatic channels. As the Voth ships began their retreat, Sentinel Lyra's expression shifted to what was unmistakably relief. The Aliari Confederation welcomes Earth to the galactic community, Lyra said. We had almost lost hope that anyone would answer our call. Most species would not risk themselves for strangers. Then perhaps it's time for a new perspective in the galaxy, Hansen replied. We're sending medical teams and supplies to your surface immediately. Our ships can provide defensive coverage while your people recover. The Void Commander called you Deathworlders, Sentinel Lyra observed. Is Earth truly such a dangerous place? Reyes stepped forward. To us, it's just home. But yes, Earth has tested humanity throughout our evolution. We've faced predators, diseases, natural disasters. Our planet forged us into survivors. And now you bring that strength to help others, Lyra noted with what seemed like wonder. The Aliari will not forget this. You have earned a place among the stars today. As the first medical shuttles prepared to launch toward the planet's surface, Commander Reyes stood at the viewport, watching the Voth fleet retreat into the darkness of space. "Think they'll be back?" Major Rivera asked, joining her. "Almost certainly," Reyes replied. "But next time, they'll think twice about attacking anyone under humanity's protection." Throughout the ship, crews worked tirelessly, preparing aid packages and medical supplies for the Aliari. Earth's first official contact with alien life had come in the form of a rescue mission, humanity extending a helping hand across the stars. On the bridge, Admiral Hansen received the first reports from the surface teams. The Aliari settlements have taken significant damage, but their population centers are largely intact. Our medical teams are being welcomed with what can only be described as celebration. Captain Chen nodded. "It seems we've made quite an impression on the galactic community." "Deathworlders." Hansen repeated the term with a slight smile. "I suppose from their perspective, that's what we are. Evolved on a planet that would kill most other sentient species. And yet that's exactly why we're here," Reyes observed. "Earth didn't just make us strong. It taught us the value of standing together against threats, of helping those who can't help themselves." As the Resilience established orbit around the Aliari homeworld, signals began arriving from other systems, curious messages from dozens of alien civilizations who had detected the battle and its outcome. Word was spreading quickly through the galaxy. A new species had arrived on the interstellar stage. Deathworlders who answered calls for help. Humanity had made its entrance into the galactic community, not as conquerors or explorers, but as rescuers. And as the medical teams worked to save Aliari lives, as engineers helped rebuild destroyed infrastructure, as defensive systems were established to prevent future attacks, one thing became abundantly clear. Earth's greatest export wouldn't be its technology or its resources. It would be its compassion, backed by the strength of a species forged in the crucible of a death world. The stars would never be the same again.